Welcome, Marcin, to Metalladium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about this Embrional, this new album, Inherent Tendencies for the Self-Destruction, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we started by asking how is the band during the last 6 years, because your previous album, Evil Dead, was released in 2019, and now we have this fourth album.
Yes, so during these 6 years, I'm also involved in many other bands like Azaraf, Hellfuck, and also I had some, let's say, adventure with the Squashballs. So during this time, during the 6 years, I have a lot to do because I had to prepare, let's say, the new material for Azaraf. Meanwhile, I also record, let's say, the new album Hellfuck, and also preparing some new stuff for this upcoming album for Embrional album. So it was lots of things to do. Also, when we recorded the album, uh, yeah, we started to negotiate with the Agonia Records label. So it also took some time to fix everything, and yeah, the time is running. The album was ready almost 2 years ago. So it was, let's say, it was waiting for release nearly 1 year, 1.5 year. So that's why it's 6 year past, and also two years we waiting for the label. So yeah, but finally we signed a deal, and hopefully 21st of March this album will be issued
Mhm.
officially.
Okay, okay. So, well, this album you provide information that this album was finished in 2000, oh, 2 years ago. So, I just expected to release what I labeled it as that's the late for this one. So, for this one, so when do you decide to compose the songs or for this new album? And all the songs are new, or do you rescue any composition that were out for the previous one, Evil Dead?
We start to, let's say, composing just after releasing the Evil Dead. So I remember the first song from this album was created nearly 4 years ago, or even more, 5 years ago. But I have, let's say, my approach for the music is that I creating very easily, and I'm not I don't like to, let's say, work in rush. I just want to, let's say, easily compose everything, and when I feel that the song and the, let's say, the composition is fully satisfy my let's say my feeling inside, and also other band members, then we will, let's say, start to compose the next one and next one. So
Mhm.
this let's say process of the composing is quite complicated, and we need a lot of time to do it. So some songs were created for this album nearly 4 or 5 years ago. Some songs are quite fresh because 2 years ago I composed the last two, as I remember. So yeah, we are not living with the music, yeah. So we have no, let's say, some deadlines to let's say finish the work on the album. This is quite comfortable for us because we don't need to, let's say, be hurry and do the music as fast as possible. Yeah, we can focus on the compositions, on the, let's say, on the sound and other things. And this is the most important thing for us to be satisfied for the final product. And we are satisfied now for this product as a, let's say, new album of Embryo.
Mhm. Okay, okay, amazing for this one. So now, well, you said about this moment that okay, because this new album is releasing by it is releasing by Agonia Records, but now the previous one was released independently. So for you, how many things changed since you releasing the previous one independently and now with Agonia Records?
Yes, we decided to release the previous album Evil Dead by our own because you know we want to try how it's looked like to do it by ourselves.
Hmm.
It was very exciting, let's say, experience for us because we have the opportunity to, let's say, meet our fans directly. We also, let's say, we had full control regarding the whole process of the recording and also process of the releasing. So we do not have to waiting for let's say some time slot with the release albums from the let's say any label. We we just let's say decided to make a release date at the beginning of the 2020, as I remember, 20 or 19. Sorry, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, and everything was under our control, and it was cool, but it was also let's say very time consuming. Instead, for example, me instead focusing on the let's say music and instead to focusing on the compositions, I had to focus on the release promotions. I have to send lots of emails to the many let's say magazines. I need to let's say hire some promotions, PR, yeah, some companies, yeah, to support us to make a promotion of this album because as you know, currently every day lots of albums it's releasing. So it's very difficult to let's say promote properly this thing. So you have to think about everything, starting from the PR process and also some marketing process because you know we have some costs like a recording and other things which we need to let's say get back. Yeah, and I thought that this is too much for me. Yeah, I rather prepare to focusing on the creating music. This is my passion, and also passion of my colleagues from the band. That's why we decided that next album we will go to the label. Yeah, instead to do it for ourselves to just save the time and also let's say I think that the labels have a much more bigger uh, um, some contacts and the promotion is let's say better than do it by ourselves. That's why we decided, okay, next album. This one was a great experience from the Evil Dead album that we were releasing by ourselves, but next album we'll just let's say sell it to the let's say great record label, and yeah, and we can focusing on the music, yeah, focusing on this what we really love, not only on the promotion and other things, yeah.
Mm. Okay, okay, I understand. I understand. Oh, okay. So now, let's talk about more about these inherent tendencies of the self-destruction. Usually, the letters or the lyrics, sorry, the lyrics from the older albums, because I remember when I know the band from in 2012 from absolutely anti-human behaviors. Great album, by the way. The second one is also amazing one. So. I
Mhm.
remember all the time you speak with about that, about misanthropy, evil, darkness, and obviously the inherent tendencies for the self-destruction. It is the same misanthropy lyrics, evil, darkness, and this kind of topic. So, and for this, how do you relate the name of the album with the cover art on this one? And how do you relate, oh, obviously, the lyrics also?
Yeah, so regarding the last album, the lyrics are, let's say, taken from our experience of the life. Yeah, we have a lots which let's say make happen around us, like a war in Ukraine, for example, many business politicians' decisions which has a huge impact for our life. And yeah, and I have some impression that we are, let's say, living for the edge of our life, for the existence of the humanity, because we deserve for self-destruction. Everything what the people do is it's in my opinion it's toward to self-destruction. Yeah, and yeah, so lots of the lyrics in this on this album, let's say, is regarding this problem. Also, yeah, the human nature is, let's say, in my opinion, mm, all of us has in our, let's say, back of our, let's say, soul, some tendencies for self-destruction. Yeah, which are sometimes we lost in the alcohol, we lost in the narcotics, which are sometimes many people just like to kill because they like it. We just kill our planet and other things. So the all lyrics on this album was, let's say, somehow around these topics. Yeah.
Mhm.
The previous album also, it was quite different because in the Evil Dead, I was really, I had a really bad experience from my previous lineup because my drummer has a serious, let's say, accident. Currently, he's not living, he's not with us, and it was also this happened has a huge impact for my life. That's why the Evil Dead was really, let's say, misanthropy music and let's say sad and I just touch different, let's say, topics of my life. So generally, um, each album is different and each album, let's say, treat another problems of the lyrics. Yeah. uh, as I mentioned, the last one is currently is, let's say, concern the current situation, what happened in on our planet, and yeah, so we touched the topics regarding death, regarding the, let's say, end of the humanity, because I have impression that we are closer to the self-destruction and the annihilation of the human beings.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And according to the cover art, it's
Mhm.
yeah.
No, please proceed. Please proceed. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, so according to the cover art, also we just, let's say, uh, we uh, experiments with him. He made a lot of cover arts, and when I sent to him, let's say, the lyrics, and sent to him, let's say, somehow the imagination of what should be on the cover art, he perfectly, let's say, can find the solution. So as you can see, this is a symbol of the guy which has a, let's say, the crown of the Jesus. This is a demon because the human nature sometimes is like a demon, and this demon, let's say, just cut his throat as the suicide final solution for human beings. So it perfectly, let's say, fit to the music and also to the lyrics.
Mm. Okay, okay. So now, talking about a little more the promotion of this new album, what kind of plans do you have for Embrional and these inherited tendencies? Perhaps you will embark tours, play summer festivals, who knows? Or perhaps you were contacting people from North America or Latin America to do a full tour, or perhaps you already working on a new album, who knows?
So currently, yeah, we are fresh. We just changed, let's say, the drummer in the band just a few weeks ago. We have some issues between us and different, let's say, approach to the music. So currently, we have a new drummer from the Hate band, and yes, and we are going to play some gigs to promote the new album together. But this is, let's say, quite problematic because Daniel, current drummer, they have a lot of concept with Hate, so we have to fit the calendar,
Mhm.
and we have to, let's say, fit to the and plan the concert to be able to, let's say, perform it together. So currently it will be some few, let's say, gigs in this year. I think maybe 5 6 gigs. Not so we are not going to plan some huge, let's say, tour, because we have no proposal for this officially. Maybe if somebody, let's say, wants to book some tour with us, of course, we will try to find a, let's say, slot in the calendar to do it. But generally, we're focusing on the recording, and Embrional is, let's say, it's a band. I would say that more focusing on the studio albums than, for example, the live performance. Yeah, because of the let's say, all of us have a different bands. We have, let's say, limited time to do it. So we will try to, of course, promote it as much as possible. Maybe some festivals will appear. We have some proposals, but we will see how it will look on the calendar, and then we will decide where to perform and when to, let's say, start to play. So yeah,
Mhm. Okay,
this is quite
okay.
complicated.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, I understand perfectly. So now, talking about one thing that I captured my attention right now is because I have a friend that lives in Poland, and all the time this friend told me that in Poland the
Hmm.
scene decrease with new bands, especially with this sound, what you like sounds like Dead Black, would be like Hate, Behemoth. I love the bands Azeroth, Lost Soul, or Infernal War. This kind of Dead Black very aggressive in that moment since 2000s until 2015, something like that. So then now there's no more aggressive bands because mostly all musicians that live out in Poland live in another countries, living another in a lot of the cities in Europe. So now, how do you see now the scene in Poland? Is healthy or is, and also I can see when I see gigs in with a lot of bands, just a few bands plays the gigs in Poland, not all bands. So how do you see now the scene in Poland in general?
So I think I play in the many places in the Europe, not only in Poland. The problem is that the death metal music is not famous as it was, let's say, in the 90s, yeah, in the early 90s. Um, Currently, I don't know if I good understand your question. However, the gigs in Poland and the general the approach of the Poland is mainly focusing on the black metal. So this is the most famous, let's say, genre of the metal in Poland. So many gigs, let's say, many people came to the gigs of the black metal bands. Death metal is not so famous, so sometimes it's 50, 60 people on the gigs. But in my opinion, sometimes let's say the crowded content is not so energy like for example some smaller where the people really like to let's say be on this death metal act and just let's say make a madness just behind the scene. um yeah, this is quite let's say different time to come here. And as far as I know, for example, in Brazil is different. Yeah, you have a lot of maniacs which are really let's say involved in the gigs. And sometimes when I see this let's say some screenshots from YouTube gigs from the Brazil or South America countries, there is still let's say the spirit of the early 90s like in Europe. In Europe, the audience is quite polite. They drink some beers. Sometimes it's lots of crowd and head banging, but mostly people standing just watching and listening to the music. Yeah, so it's quite different, but it's also okay. I just like it. I like to play concerts. I like to be beyond the concert. I also support, let's say, underground scene. And if I have some time to attend the concerts underground, I just do it.
Hmm. Okay. 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 Now, other topic that I'm just usually find in mostly all bands from Poland is this concept to be anti-religion or to be anti-Christianity in mostly all bands, especially Behemoth, Hate, a lot of
Hmm.
bands more plays again. So they write the lyrics or they write the lyrics about against this. And I think it's had to do because we'll know that Poland has a Christian country for because they had a church, etc., there. So do you think that you have this influence for the Christianity is the main reason that mostly all bands in Poland speaks about this situation of anti-Christianity or misanthropy in their lyrics?
Hmm. Yes, I think that in Poland we have a huge problem with the politicians and the religion because Poland is a quite conservative country. We have a really we have no distance that the normal people and the Christians in Poland living in Poland they had a huge problem with the let's say with the people who think different with the atheists with they call us let's say Satanism and so on and the problem is that they start to let's say they start to be more let's say maybe not aggressive, but how to name it? Just they start to, let's say, try to have a big influence for the culture. They start to, let's say, reduce our freedom of our speech because just 2 years ago, when you try to, let's say, organize some festival with the death metal bands where the logo has, for example, some side cross and some name like Christ agony or I don't know rotting Christ, they just banned this concept, and it also has let's say at the place now. They just canceled the government or the let's say the some people from the government just canceled the concert because of the satanism. Yeah, for example, the vocalist from Behemoth, he had let's say the problem with the law because we have some let's say law that if you say something wrong about the Christianity, then you are let's say you are treated as a let's say somebody who is as a crime. Yeah, so we start to be let's say as a rebel against this treating because you know everyone wants to have some freedom of speech. Yeah. Uh, if I don't like or I do not believe in the God, so I have a right to just explore it, to just show that I have a different state of mind. But in Poland, especially as I mentioned 2 years ago, when the different party was, let's say, in the government, they start to have a huge influence for this and start to reduce our freedom. That's why most of the bands start to say also be against it, about it. Yeah, it was similar as in communism when we start to be against the reducing of our freedom because of the party. Um, yeah, so the underground start to create the bands which are be against such let's say reducing of the freedom. Yeah. So currently we have the problem with the Christianity because they think that they are better than we. We have no law. We cannot say about something wrong about this religion because yeah we are crimes because we let's say I can find the proper word of this but yeah, we start to have a huge problems with this. That's why many bands start to be against this and use lots of, let's say, rebel in the lyrics, in the music, and so on.
Mm. Okay, okay. All
I
because
don't know what is in the South America.
ah, excuse me.
Do you have the same problem in South America or not?
Well, here is very different than Europe. Well, in general, we have a lot of problems, society problems, cultural problems, a lot of things. Here is a mess. In general, here is a mess. So now to returning to this one, uh,
Okay.
usually in 2000s, when I hear bands from Poland, especially from Azerat, Embrional, and as I said, until 2015, I did not like there is a sound there. So for some, Behemoth, Hate, Lost Soul, Pyorrhea, and also Embrional, Azerat, Infernal Wall, there is like a similar sound in general, not the similar riffs, not the similar bands or influence, but there is a sound like when you hear this the bands created in the 90s for Scott Burns, there are similar sound that's completely normal. That's called, but it's Florida death metal or British death metal, Finnish death metal, and that's why when I hear at that moment from 2000s, from 2015 at least, there is like a sound into the Poland. Now this sounds for me it appears to disappear in new bands in Poland because there's no try to refresh this aggressive sound that you have on this for me. But do you think that the Poland developed a personal sound into into the extreme music?
I think yes, we have let's say some let's name it. I also always can recognize the Polish band because we have some characteristic, let's say, sound and characteristic manner to let's say compose the music. However, currently the border to start to disappear because lots of young bands start to record in the, let's say, professional studios, but many of them choose, let's say, their own path of the recording. They recording in the home, then they send it to the, for example, the studio only for the mastering and mix mastering, and the sound is many of bands, new bands from Poland, sound similar because they use the same, let's say, patterns to finish the music, and not many bands currently, let's say, try to find their own sounds and they own sounds. Of course, the bands with what you let's say mentioned, like Infernal Wall, this is, in my opinion, this is quite classic bands, yeah, because they quite old. They started to in the beginning of 2000 or even in the 90s, and they have a huge experience regarding the recording and also the composing of the let's say of the songs. But currently, the let's say recording is it's much more easy to let's say to achieve than for example 20 years ago. Yeah, I remember when I record first demo of Embrional, we did it in the studio in Poland, and I remember that, let's say, we spent a lot of time to record it. Currently, you have, let's say, you don't need to use, let's say, some tape. You need just need the DAW. You have some computer programs, and you just created music just like that. Yeah, if you can use the microphone, you can, let's say, use you have some, let's say, skills, musical skills. You can just record it at home, send it to the let's say every studio, and they will make you for you the music. Yeah, so it's not many. It's many bands, however, in Poland now, but not many of them are really original. Yes, this is the problem. Not only in Poland, this is also a problem in the Europe, in the world, I suppose, because yeah, many of them choose very easy way to record and to create the music. Yeah, just okay. The guitars need to sound heavy. We make some few riffs. We make some vocal with the echo, and yeah, and this is the cult. Yeah,
Mm.
I think this is not the good path to create something what is worthy. Yeah,
Mm. Okay,
I
okay.
really like the old ones. I really like sometimes that. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, okay. So we're very close to this interview, Marci. And for one of the last questions for this is, so now as you can see, there's 1,000 of releases per weekend. So it's impossible to follow each one even we are media, it's impossible for this. So now how do you what kind of point do you have for this overwhelming releases per weekend, more than 50, 60? Because for some people this overwhelming is good, and for the other ones is bad. This overwhelming releases per weekend, even in extreme metal, especially.
Hmm. So I think that we cannot find the gold solution. Yeah, as you mentioned, so the new releases are overwhelm everyone, and we have a lot of let's say new albums, demos, and other things, which just let's say crashing your ears, and you are not able to check everything. But in my opinion, there is a lot of it and also great music. So usually I just let's say we as a close friends from Poland, for example, we send each other some links for the bands which are really interesting and to find some let's say how to name it when I looking for some inspiration. Sometimes my colleagues send me some underground, total, bands unknown, but their sound is so great that, for example, I'm not able to find it, for example, in the YouTube channel or, for example, the Spotify or other, let's say, streaming platform. But currently, we just send each other the great links, and this is, let's say, only one manner to how to find something interesting in this huge amount of the new albums. And I have no idea how to do it with Embryo. We just do what we can do the best. Yeah. So we have a label because Agonia Records it's a very good label. There is a lot of great bands under this flag. And I think that there are Agonia has also great streams for which can show our music to the let's say wider audience. However, this is not a golden manner to let's say to fit or to let's say somehow um, to be more famous. I don't know, to be honest. We just do what we love. In Poland, we are quite known. Also in the Europe and on the let's say America, North America, South America, many people know the Embrional and they waiting. Many fans waiting for it, and I think this is the most important. Yeah, year after year we get more fans, and this let's say the most great thing what we can do. Yeah, to just gather it one by one, to just let's say try to send some people our music to make them allow to know our band. Uh, However, we are aware that many bands came every day, and this is what is current reality, and we have to face on.
Okay, that is true. That is true. And one of the last questions that always capture my attention is because the band starts in 2003. And in 2003, with your first album, with the first name Embrional Necrophilicism at that moment. But then you decide to release your first album 9 years later.
Yes.
And in 2000, and for a European band, that is an unusual thing because here in Latin America, the things works differently. I saw that bands here have more than 20 years and they released their first album. So for this, why did you delay so much your first album?
Yeah, in 2003, I just formed this band, Embrional Necrophilism, and it was completely different lineup. I worked with completely different people. And in 2005, I found, let's say, Richu Vermin. He also played he used to play in Best, and we decided to let's say record first demo in 2005, and it was let's say released by Old Temple Records in 2006. It was demo Cusp of Evil. After that, we have also demo on Annihilation. So if we gather these all songs and just focusing on the album, so the album would be released in 2005, 2006. But we decided, okay, we start with the demo because at that time it was, let's say, the proper way for the beginning band. And in 2012, as I remember, we recorded first album, Absolutely Aldehyde Behaviors. It was just, let's say, natural. Yeah, we start from the demo, decided to record the album, and nothing special was behind it. Yeah. And we changed the name because in the Embrional Necrophilis, as I mentioned, it was me and four other guys. It was separate vocal. I was not vocalist at that time. We had a completely different bass player, drummer, and guitarist. And when I changed, let's say, the people, due to some, let's say, personal issues, also, let's say, some priorities and other things, we start the new episode of this band. In 2005, we just decided to name it Embrional. We thought, let's say, Necrophilis. And we started with the demo, and then in 2012, 6 years later, we recorded because the composing is a very difficult process and time-consuming process. So that's why, if I'm not sure and we are not 100% sure that what we created is good, we will not decide to release it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, Marcy, we come to the sad moment of this interview. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk with you about Embrional, this last album, Inherent Tendencies and for Self-Destruction, and more things related with this. So it's a great album. Congratulations on it. And perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American
You
fans and Metallium followers?
okay? Thank you very much for this interview. It is glad to. I'm very glad to, let's say, make this interview. I think that I hope that I don't know if you have opportunity to listen the whole album because as far as I know, again Records sent some only some singles, but at the end of the March, whole album will appear on the let's say Spotify and other platforms, so you can so all of the maniacs can let's say check this album at the all at the whole let's say music composition. I hope that everyone will like it. We do the best to create this album, and I hope that